Welcome again to Simeon Gloria YouTube channel. I hope you've been enjoying the beautiful videos that are coming your way. Keep liking, sharing and commenting. Today I bring you a beautiful exposition. It's coming straight from the Father's heart, Father's love. And the topic is, I will arise and go to my Father. This is one of the statements of, a boy who, after he has exhibited his fantasy, after he has proven that body is root and destiny, is a statement of a boy who has found out, who has come to a knowing that daddy is indispensable, that there is no place like home. And then it is the statement of the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15 verse 17 to 22. And the Bible says, and when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father. And we say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am not worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to the father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck, kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and I am not worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servant, bring forth the best robe, and put on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. This is the story of the prodigal son. One of the striking statements he made is, I will arise and go to my father. A statement that it's a ministry that Jesus came to do. The Bible says he came to reconcile the father and the sons to their fathers, and then handed over this ministry of reconciliation even to the end-time army, because the end-time army is charged with the responsibility of returning branches to their roots, returning offshoots, product to their source, returning sons to their father. It talks about, I will arise and go to my father, interpreting returning to the source of your origin, returning to your roots, returning to the where your foundation, returning to God himself. So this is a statement of being who you are, who you ought to be, knowing as you ought to know. Knowing, the Bible says in Isaiah that look unto Sarah, look unto Abraham, your fathers. So if you want to know yourself, it is a statement of a boy who realizes himself and then want to return so that he can build well. A lot of us has been jumping from pillar to pole without a touch of who the source of our life. Some people don't even know if they are from God or where. They'll just live, they just wake up and live anyhow, aimlessly. This is not a millennium to be that aimless. So the prodigal son said, I will arise and go to my father. I will arise and go to my father is a statement of a boy that suddenly realized that father is root and destiny, that father is indispensable, that there is no place like home in provision and in refuge. Why it was possible for the prodigal son to make this statement is while he was in the father's house, he was in delusion. He was feeling that daddy was wasting his time with his wise counsel, with his intelligent heart, with his fear. He felt that daddy was so fearful. He felt that daddy was limiting him from taking over the world. To him, he felt when he was with the father, before he left home, before the statement, he felt that daddy was limiting him, that daddy was too fearful for his liking, that daddy is unending and instructions and wise saying is not helping matter, that daddy is old-fashioned and outdated. But when he was left to face the storm of life, when he was left to test outside, that his fantasy, when he was left to hang out, when he was left to flex, when he was left to cruise life, when he was left to go where he wanted to go, he noticed that the son was not merciful, and then noticed that the father was the only person that loves sacrificially, that supports sacrificially without any string attached. The father is the only person that loves genuinely. And then he said, I will arise and go to the only man that mattered. I will arrive and go to only man. Arise and go to the only man that cares. I will arise and go to the only man. And the Bible says in John 14 verse 1 and 2 that in the Father's house there are many mansions. So the Father's house is the only place where a mansion that is so large enough to take our excesses. The Father's house is like a mansion that have room enough, large enough to contain our shortfalls, to contain our mistakes, to contain our fails, to contain our excesses. The Father's heart is a heart that keeps mercy while we change. The Father's heart is a heart that keeps pardon and forgiveness before we ask for mercy. The Father's heart is a heart that keeps blessings and inheritance waiting for our growth. So, beloved Son of God, have you reason to go back to your Father? The Bible says in John 10 verse 30 that I and my Father is one. So Jesus knew the importance of being one with his Father. Are you in oneness with your source? Don't forget, much cannot be accomplished until we are one. We know we identify our source in God. This study is coming our way to say that it is time for you to arise and go to your Father. In case you have missed it, in case you have deviated, in case you felt that there is a place better than home. The study is telling you that the prodigal son tested it outside and then knew between outside and home where he should be. The Father's house have many mansions. The Father's house has many rooms. The Father's house have many large rooms, large mansions, large enough to contain our excesses. It is in Father that we have genuine mercy. This study is calling you back to your Father, and I pray that you answer this singing call. And in case you are with the Father, I want you to gain from his wisdom, gain from his wealth of experiences. Keep staying. He have you in view and have you in plan. At the end of the time, he will give you blessings. He will give you inheritance. The Bible says, immediately the Father saw him, embraced him, and then put a robe on him. The prodigal son didn't ask for more, he just asked for food, but he was given a robe. He was given a ring. He was given a shoe. He was given more than he asked, because it is Father that loves genuinely. I pray that God will bring you back to your Father, so that the reconciliation of the sons to their Father can be accomplished. The reconciliation of the branches to the roots can be done. The reconciliation of the outputs, the product with their source can be accomplished. Arise. May we arise and go to our Father in Jesus.